What's good, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about OKC's big offseason. And not only did they have Russell Westbrook as their MVP of the regular season, they had their MVP of the offseason, Sam Presti, as he brings in not one, but two MVPs to aid Russell in terms of, or in hopes of, that they can win a championship and, make Oklahoma more appealing for Russell Westbrook and maybe these new superstars to make a home here and be consistent contenders for the next couple of years. With that being said, we're going to get into today answering the question, can OKC win a championship this year? First thing in discussing whether OKC can win a championship is offense. Offensively, there's no doubt that they don't have the firepower, the skill set, the tools to become offensively dominant against these other teams, maybe even the other stacked teams, superstar teams, whatever you want to call them. And the reason that I think that they're going to be so successful is because they're all willing to give up. And, it sounds cliche, but everybody on their team is willing to make that sacrifice. Paul George walked in there and he knew that Russell Westbrook was was the leader. He was the face of the franchise. Carmelo, he's not coming in with the idea that this is my team now. Carmelo's going to play his game. Carmelo's going to shoot the ball. Paul George is going to shoot the ball. They're all going to shoot the ball. But to be honest, the people that they're playing with, Steven Adams is not a guy that you don't have to call a play for. He's going to be getting hustle plays. He's going to be fighting down low. He's going to be doing things of that nature. Andre Roberson, he's someone you do not, there's no call. There's no playbook. There is no play for Andre Roberson anywhere. It didn't matter if Paul George Carmelo was there. There's no play for him. There's no play for most of the majority of that team. There's no play. So these guys are going to have the ball in their hands majority of the time. Russell Westbrook is not going to have to carry that load. So he's going to be better defensively. And we'll get into that later. But ultimately, Russell Westbrook should be able to shoot a better percentage from the field. He should be able to get some smarter, better looks at the rim. He should be able to be more under control. We still gonna go 150 miles per hour, but this isn't always gonna be for him now. He's not gonna have to beat everybody down the court every single time to get some easy baskets. He's gonna have the ability to make himself a decoy almost in the midst of having a Paul George or a Carmelo Anthony that he can dish the ball to confidently. That is so key for this team, is the confidence Russell Westbrook has in his teammates. That's going to make this team unbelievable offensively if they can acquire some trust from Russell. And no doubt Russell does want this team to work together. I've found out that, Russell and Paul George, not only Russell, but Russell and Paul George called Carmelo Anthony and they said, we can make this work. Come to this team. We believe we can win a championship. And that, Carmelo wouldn't have sacrificed, or there would be no reason for Carmelo to even waive his trade clause to be on this team if he wasn't going to sacrifice what he's already going, what he's going to go through by sacrificing shots, maybe some minutes here and there, even though he's still going to be around 30 minutes per game as a starter. He's still going to get, he's still going to be able to get him some ISO plays, if he's hot. But the point is, he's going to sacrifice. Paul George is going to sacrifice. Ultimately, I hope Westbrook Westbrook is such an odd thing. We never really know what to expect. I mean, we know he's a freak of nature. We know he's a stat sheet stuffer. But like what happened with KD and before of, Russell was taking shots or more shots than Kevin Durant at points. There was times where Russell would take shots with Kevin Durant wide open. There was chances where Russell took the closing shot instead of Kevin Durant. But ultimately, I feel Russell is going to try to just make the right decision. And I'm a huge Russell fan. I hope he can make the right decision because he is the biggest X factor in this and how well the OKC plays and if they can win a championship. The other point I think about when talking about OKC's offense is what's going to happen when these superstars are not on the floor, when they have Raymond Felton, when they have, what's the other guy's name? Jeremy Grant on their team. Or on just riding the floor. I mean, Patrick Patterson, he's an okay, okay stretch. He's never he played with Toronto for the past couple of years, and he didn't even average 10 points neither of those games. It was times where he was playing big minutes, times where he started, times where he gets open looks, and he hadn't averaged over 10 points as a starter. I mean, it's not easy, but when it's definitely possible for a guy like him, and you got to have faith in your bench to be able to win a championship. All these big teams, there's not many teams that's going to win a championship with nothing less than an all right bench. And I get the fact that they do have the three superstars, so they're going to always be one person, and out of those three that's going to be able to lead them offensively. But you still want your bench to have confidence, because if you don't, then you're going to fall in the same predicament Russell was when you're going to have that one superstar that's going to have to take every shot without the help of their teammates, just standing around watching. And the thing about it, okay, if you look at what the Warriors do, everybody in their system plays well. Even without the superstars, you look at it, you have Ian Clark, Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala that are just playing magnificent because they have so much off the ball movement that puts everybody in a successful system to score. So easy, some easy buckets. And I think that OKC needs to have something like that for their bench, because just having that one guy that's going to jack up shots when everybody else is on the bench, it's not always going to be in the best. And that can lead to some of these runs for these big teams, like, for example, the Rockets and the Warriors, who are already offensively dominant. I do believe that if OKC truly wants to win a championship, they are one piece away, and that's a big bench player, not a Jamal Crawford, not a, like I said, Andre Iguodala, but somebody who can just provide a spark off the bench, who's not going to make their bench look trash, and could also help out whatever superstars on the team. It's just a small player. There's still people in free agency. There's still some people that are, lingering out there that they can definitely pick up. But ultimately, like I said, OKC definitely has the firepower to compete with some of these top teams in terms of their offense. Anybody who's watched the game of basketball, played, talked about it, analytics, anybody, you heard the quote, defense wins championships. And I believe OKC definitely has the tools to be a great defending team. They were already top 10 prior to this season or upcoming season, and they had some defensive liabilities that they got rid of. Inez Cantor and Doug McDermott, those two, probably arguably one of the worst defenders in the league. And they brought in Paul George, who's known for his defense and his ability to lock up. So I think having those two perimeter defenders of Roberson and Paul George will ultimately just help the whole team, because they have that cushion that they're, not everybody's going to have to get blown, or not everybody is going to just be blown past and worry about fouling. They were top in fouls and just giving up free throws because they settled for, hacking when they got beat off the dribble. But with the help of these perimeter defenders, not only do they not have to worry about that, but they have Steven Adams, who's going to be Mr. Paint Patrol down there, and he's going to make sure that he puts a presence down low. So with that being said, with the great defense already in the starting five, they're able to put Russell Westbrook in the Carmelo Anthony in the midst of that. Not only are teams going to be worried about, having their best players locked up by, great defending players, but they're also going to have to worry about offensively, who are we going to have we can't look to our third and fourth options to run the team. It's not going to be like that. So when you have Russell Westbrook or Carmelo guarding those third and fourth options, it's not as hard as them guarding a James Harden. It's not as hard to guard a Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. So it's just making everything easier around them by adding another defender. And the thing that I worry about for OKC is how they're going to perform defensively on the bench. Like I said, their bench is garbage. Patrick Patterson is not the best defender. Raymond Felton is not the best defender. Jeremy Grant is not a terrible defender, but he's nowhere near what you just want in a defender. Like I said, if they want to make the big move that they're trying to do and winning this championship, they're gonna need that one extra player that's gonna give them a spark and not only become offensively, but they're gonna need a defensive presence down low. They don't have much big wise. They just gave away. They got rid of Sabonis, so that with that being said, they don't really have. They don't have much depth at that big man position. So we don't even know how they're going to be protecting the rim with their bench out. And so you don't really want your bench to get exposed because that defensively and offensively, because it's just going to lead to runs, which can change games at any point in time. So, like I said, they need one more player that's going to be that all-around guy that's going to help their bench offensively and defensively to make this team a concrete contender. They already got some big names, but they need to have a supporting cast that's going to be able to support the team when the big three is not on the floor. Now, the two things standing in the way of OKC in the championship is one, adversity. What are they going to do if it's not working right away? What are they going to do if they feel like somebody's not serious? What are they going to do if they feel like somebody isn't, committed to sacrifices? Are they going to break down? Are they going to become frustrated? Are they going to, feel like this wasn't the right move just because it's not working right away? The other part of the adversity movement they're going to face is how are they going to play together? Who's going to take the shots? We all know everybody's going to get the shots, but who's going to take the most shots? Who's going to shoot the last shot of the game when the game is on the line? Because we all know Carmelo Anthony. He was a top guy in New York. We all know Paul George. He was a top guy in Indiana. So, they're coming over here not expecting to be the top guy, but definitely being expected to be respected and to be involved in these key players in the game or key times in the game. They're going to be wanting to take that shot as well. It's hard to just sit back and let somebody else take that shot. But like I said, they all have to become to a common ground and understanding that they got to just search for the best shot. Maybe ride who's ever hot, maybe who's ever, got the best offensive mismatch. So it all comes to the point of can they figure out how to work together? And I feel like it's not going to work right away, but if they put some determination and kind of hold themselves accountable, it can definitely work and work to their advantages. They're going to create so many mismatches offensively. So if they can just work with each other, the sky's the limit in terms of that bump in the road for them. The second bump in the road, we all know them. Some people even hate them. Some people are saying they're taking the easy way out. The Warriors. The Warriors are playing magnificent basketball, and we cannot, just give up and say that since Russell Westbrook got to so-and-so in the playoffs already by himself with the additions of Carmelo and Paul George, he's going to be, this is an easy win. No, there's nobody's thinking that. Warriors are still in favor to win by a landslide, and Russell Westbrook, he probably knows that. His heart and pride might say, we're going to beat this team, but he knows he's definitely got to play. If they don't play at the top of their game against the Warriors, it's going to be a done deal. And with the help of Nunez Cantor, not by his play, but by his words saying, beat the Warriors for me, that is probably their biggest goal. Even if they don't win a championship, if somehow they beat the Warriors, maybe get to the finals, maybe lose to maybe a Celtics team or LeBron James, maybe that might even give them incentive that they can make things work and they can stay together. So I think that is their biggest goal, is winning or beating the Warriors. And we all know, we all know OKC wants to be Kevin Durant. Not even the Warriors. They want to be Kevin Durant. To wrap up this video, I'm going to finally give my answer to the question, will they win a championship this year? No. Simple as that. I don't think they will. However, I do think they might stay together if they can get deep in the playoffs and look good. They feel good. They're playing great. I feel that they will stay and make the numbers work. But I don't think they're going to win the championship. I mean, I can't even say I hate to say it because the Warriors basically built their team through a rebuild and just added a superstar, which, you know, is ideal. But the Warriors, I'm sorry to say this for everybody who despises the Warriors, who hates the Warriors, who thinks they took the easy way out, especially with Kevin Durant, they're going to win the championship. And I could put money on it. And it's funny to add to that, as I'm recording this video, the update comes through that Russell Westbrook signs a 6-year, $223 million contract extension, which proves to you that Russell Westbrook believes that this team can win a championship. So I change it. OKC will win a championship. Not this year. I say next year they win their championship. Just like that.